Carson Beck. Let me take this one, Benjamin.
Uh-oh.
You know me, big Carson Beck fan. Was always nice to me when he was at Georgia. Not everybody felt the same way about him. What did I tell you a week ago? When Carson Beck has competent receivers, a good offensive line, and a good run game, which really any quarterback, right, would benefit from that, he'll be fine. But my point was that people thought they he was dead. He was done. Out for the count. This guy had an awful season to go at Georgia. There's no way he's going to be good at Miami. And the one thing I said was, well, his first year at Georgia, when he was one of the most efficient passers in the country, when he didn't make too many mistakes, he had a great offensive line. He had good running backs. And he had elite level receivers. Now, to be seen whether Miami's receivers are elite level, but at least in week 1 against Notre Dame, they looked pretty dang good. They got separation. They got open. And Beck did everything you saw in year 1 at Georgia when he had all these things, this solid foundation, and he had receivers that weren't dropping balls. He did the exact same thing at Miami. I'm not quite sure if I'm ready to put him in the Heisman talk. By the way, that catch, man, C.J. Daniels could.
Ole Miss had him on campus, dude.
I remember.
Imagine putting him with the rest of those receivers they have, but what a catch, man.
That'd be nasty.
Play of week 1.
And this is what I'm talking about. That year at Georgia, his first year where Georgia almost, should have probably three-peated. That season, he had receivers like that. He had a Brock Bowers. He had a Ladd McConkey. He had Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. He had, Dylan Bell, who was their primary target a year ago, was a gadget guy. He had a lot of solid receivers. He had guys like Kendall Milton and Dejon Edwards that could run downhill. That's what I'm seeing with this Miami team. The talent is there, and if you got the talent around Beck, he'll make you good. He'll make the right decisions. He did that time in and time out of Georgia. That was the biggest thing when he was at Georgia. He checks in and out. He does the right protections. He audibles, even though he claimed he didn't have as much leeway the other day, saying I didn't have as much leeway in Bobo's offense. They definitely let him do a lot because it was a pro-style offense, and he knows how to run that. So Carson Beck's going to be a fine game manager, but also he's got the big arm to make some big throws. And as long as his receivers are coming through for him, his offensive line's protecting for him, Miami's going to be just fine.
He's my sleeper pick for the Heisman.
I don't disagree with you, but I just want to see it now more consistently because we do have last year to go off of as well. When things get hard, when maybe some protections break down, how is Beck going to handle that? Is he going to turn into mistake-prone Beck from a season ago where he was trying to do too much, or is he going to be a little more level and calm? I think this is a great fit for him too in Miami. I'll tell you this, man. I just never sounded like Carson was the right fit at UGA, whether when he was the backup for Stetson Bennett or when he was starting. It just never felt like that team really, and this isn't putting it on the team because I think there's a lot of talk right now about, well, Carson Beck saying that he was bullied and wasn't treated well at Georgia. That's not the case. I think it almost came more from the fan base, but the team situation a year ago was more of who Carson Beck became. He was dating a Cavender twin. He had the Lamborghini and the Corvette, and he moved out. He was living with all his teammates. He moved out and got a place of his own and sort of almost isolated himself, I think. And I think he's learned a lot since then. But Miami just seems to be a way better fit for him. I think he can be more of himself now. He can do a little more. There's times that I could say this now because I don't, I'm not connected to UGA anymore. I remember Carson walking into the huddle after a game upset, and Georgia won. And one specific occasion was Georgia Tech in 2023. And I was asking a couple guys I knew, I said, what's going on with Carson? Well, he's really upset at Coach Bobo because they didn't open up the playbook and let him play the way he wanted. He didn't get to throw as much. They just ran the ball. And that's a recipe to win for Kirby Smart. You run the football. If you're doing it successfully, when Kendall Milton's going off, you let him run the ball. But Beck was like, I want to do that. I want to make the big plays. I want to let me play quarterback. I think Miami's going to let him do that. He's in a way better spot. Very happy for Carson, and I think he's going to be just fine.